It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of October 5th, 2001. We got 4 films to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. And we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke in the crime thriller Training Day. So in Los Angeles, a city where streets are overrun by drug dealers, those who have sworn to uphold the law are breaking them to clean up the streets. Denzel Washington plays an LAPD detective, a veteran narcotics officer, whose methods of enforcing the law are questionable, if not corrupt. Training Day follows Harris as he's joined by rookie Jake Hoyt, played by Ethan Hawke, on a 24-hour period. Ethical dilemmas arise for Hoyt as well as the audience as questions present themselves as to whether or not Harris's methodology for ridding the streets of South Central Los Angeles of drugs is right or wrong. I mean, honestly, if you watch the movie the first time around, you could pretty much figure out which side Denzel Washington is on, and for that, that just makes it all the more awesome for him in this movie. I mean, you can see why he won the Oscar for Best Actor here, why Ethan Hawke was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, because they're both fantastic to watch in this movie. They're both very good. The story takes place over the course of a 24-hour period, and it's just very well done. It's a movie that is very intense, very in your face, very much making you wonder, how is this going to end when it's all said and done? It keeps you on the edge of your seat. In a movie like this, it's very well done. Like, the cast in this movie is fantastic alone. Like, not only just Washington and Hawke alone, but also you have Scott Glenn, Cliff Curtis, Eva Mendes, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Macy Gray. A good cast overall in this movie, and great direction by Antoine Fuqua, and also the writing of David Ayer. It's a really good movie, man. I don't think I really need to say too much more about this movie. It hasn't already been said already. It's one of the reasons why I say that Denzel Washington is one of our greatest actors, because this is, if not the greatest actor, because of this movie right here. I mean, he commands the screen in this film. When he's on screen, his presence is felt, and he really does give the best performance of the entire movie. Like, it has a lines to it. It's had a lasting legacy, a terrible TV series that was on CBS for only 1 season, and not surprising, it was on CBS. I mean, if the network that couldn't do Rush Hour and True Lies couldn't, in series form, tried to do it with Training Day, what did you think was going to happen? Like, it was already done on arrival the moment when somebody said, let's swap the roles around. Like, it's going to be the Ethan Hawke character now as the corrupt cop, and the black cop is going to be the guy who's the rookie, and it just didn't work out. But this movie is great. I don't think I need to say too much more about this one. Training Day, what more can I say? It's a phenomenal film. If you have not seen it, you are doing yourself a major, major disservice by not doing so. So, that's Training Day. Let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale in Serendipity. John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale, they meet while shopping for gloves in New York City. Though buying for their respective lovers, the magic was right, and on the night of Christmas shopping turns into romance. John wants to explore things further, but Sarah wasn't sure their love was meant to be. They decided to test fate by splitting up and seeing if destiny brought them back together. Many years later, having lost faith on each other that night, both are engaged to be married. Still, neither can shake the need to give fate one last chance to reunite them. John enlists the help of his best man, played by Jeremy Piven, to track down the girl he can't forget starting at the store where they met. Sarah asks her new-age musician's fiancé for a break before the wedding, and with her best friend in tow, flies from California to New York, hoping destiny will bring her soulmate back. Near misses and classic Shakespearean confusion bring the two closer to meeting a number of times, but fate will have the final word on whether it was meant to be. And, you could probably see a much better movie like this in Only You, which has Robert Downey Jr. and Marissa Tomei, and came out almost 10 years prior to this, which was really well done. It was a great movie about two lovers, about this woman who wanted to find love, and had a name written down, and this person calls her just as she's about to get married, and she decides to take the leap and go find this person, who turns out to be Robert Downey Jr., and turns out not to be him in the long run. To me, I think that works better than this movie does, but I will say it's not a bad movie, but it's one that's just kind of it's fine for what it is. Like, the chemistry between John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale is fine, I guess. It's nothing too spectacular or nothing too groundbreaking in particular, but I guess it does the job well enough, and I do think it is a lighthearted romantic comedy, but it definitely falls into the typical romantic comedy tropes. I mean, it falls into a lot of contrivances we see all the time in movies like this, and really, once you've seen one, you've seen them all, and unless you can do something really, really good and special with it, it just doesn't work. It just won't make it a great film overall. It's a fine film for what it is, but it's one that I'm never gonna watch again after watching it the first time around. But I digress. That's serendipity. So, on to the next movie, and that is Paul Walker and Steve Zahn in Joyride. So the story of Joyride is that you have three young people on a road trip who are talking to a trucker on their CB radio. Then they must escape when he turns out to be a psychopathic killer. So it's kind of a mix between Duel and The Hitcher, kind of mixed together. It's a movie where you have somebody following these random people who are thinking they're playing along with a joke at first, and then when they realize how serious it turns out to be, then the tension begins to build, and you get a movie that has a lot of tension with it. And you have a script written by J.J. Abrams and also Clay Tarver, which is a name that you might be familiar with mostly for his comedic work with Silicon Valley. He did the script for this with J.J. Abrams, along with some projects with Mike Judge. And a very interesting turn for him. I mean, it's a very interesting film for him to take on. And it's a movie that is very enjoyable. I mean, there is a lot of good tension-filled moments here. You kind of want these guys to get their comeuppance because they're the ones that kind of started it. But the movie does a good job of giving them a sense of, we want to like these characters, and we want them to survive. And they do a very good job with that. I think Paul Walker does a very good job with that. So does Steve Zahn. So does Lily Sobieski, who's also in the film. Ted Levine, who does the voice of the killer in this, who's also the Buffalo Bill, I thought was a nice touch too as well. I thought he did a very good job of handling that. It's a very tension-filled movie, and it does keep you on the edge of your seat and wondering how it's going to end and what's going to happen next. But it's a very good film. I definitely recommend checking it out. Sequels avoid like the plague. They're direct-to-video sequels. They don't have any of the original cast members back in them, so chances are it's not going to be that good. And that's probably give you the first warning right there not to see those films. But so that's Joyride. So let's go ahead and move on to our last film, and that is Disney's Max Keeble's Big Move. That's probably the best joke in the entire movie. But you ever see a movie where you think to yourself, man, this had to have been a Disney Channel original movie that they decided to blow up for the big screen? Maybe you didn't, but that's how I felt about this movie. This looked like a Disney Channel movie they blew up for the big screen because, man, I remember hearing about this movie back in the day, and when I finally got to watch it, when it finally came out on video, almost a year later, which should probably tell you right there, the fact that back then, it was usually a 4-month difference between theatrical and then, the video release of a movie. It's the fact that I remember this coming out, I think on video around June or something, June or July. This is not because the movie was a big hit. No, far from it. This movie was not the biggest hit at the box office, but it didn't get the worst reviews from critics. But if you're wondering what the story is, you have Max, played by Alex D. Linz, the kid from Home Alone 3, and his friends. They go to junior high school, only to learn that Max's family will soon move elsewhere. Max resolves to get even with those who bully him and his friends before he leaves, since he will not remain there long enough to face discipline for anything he does. But surprise, surprise, the world of comedy hijinks says, oh, they're not moving after all. So it's just like, yeah, this kid's pretty much fucked with some of the stuff that he does in this movie. But the thing about this movie to me is that it felt like a movie that it was trying to be like Snow Day. In fact, it has two of the same kids from Snow Day in it, Josh Peck and also Xena Gray, who played the main girl character in that movie. And it felt like a movie that was trying to be its own Snow Day mixed in with a little bit of Pete and Pete, which then again, Snow Day was supposed to be a Pete and Pete movie back in the day. And the movie really does not make a whole lot of sense in general when you really think about it. I mean, what's supposed to happen when he realizes that, the movie just, like, it really doesn't know exactly what it's trying to accomplish here? Because really, in the end, nothing really changes with anybody. I mean, Max somehow gets a little bit more popular, I guess, because he took down Larry Miller as the principal, which, even for Larry Miller being in this movie, I thought he was weak, man. Like, Larry Miller, you put him in a movie, and he will usually be the one positive thing about it that will always be very positive to watch about him. And even in this movie, I don't think he's really given a whole lot to do, honestly. It's a movie where they have a lot of good talent in this film. I mean, you know, Jamie Kennedy's also in here, Nora Dunn, Lizzie McGuire's dad, Robert Carradine's in this as well, Orlando Brown, Noel Fisher, Clifton Davis, Justin Burfield, Amy Hill, Amber Valletta, Dennis Haskins, Tony Hawk is in this movie as a cameo in this, but Dante Basco is also in here as well, too, but they have good talent in here, but the script just really is not... It doesn't feel like a film that was intended... Like I said, it was intended to be a big screen release. Like, it felt like a movie that was supposed to go straight to the Disney Channel, but someone said, that kid from Home Alone's popular, we think, so let's make a movie about... Let's put him on the big screen. I mean, hey, it worked for Snow Day, but Snow Day worked because Snow Day was actually a fun movie and actually made sense. It appealed to the kids who were watching it back then and had that love and feel of an actual Snow Day whenever that happened. That movie works because kids can relate to that. You can't relate to anything in this goddamn movie. I mean, it feels like a real ripoff of Snow Day, right down to the evil ice cream man, who is basically the evil snowplow man from Chris Elliott from Snow Day, and the principal. He's much more of a monster in this movie compared to what he was in the original Snow Day. In Snow Day, I mean, it really felt like Disney saw Snow Day and said, "Well, shit, we can make our own version of this," and they didn't. They just didn't have anything there to make this movie feel like a film that they had to put on the big screen. I don't even know why it went to the big screen, to be quite honest with you, because nothing about this movie felt big screen worthy for the script department, except for the big cast that they have in here, but it just didn't work. It was really one of those movies where I was just like, when I finally got a chance to finally see it, I was majorly let down by it when it was all said and done, because it's just like, I've seen this done so much better with Snow Day. I mean, it's literally Disney's attempt to create a Nickelodeon-style movie, but not even in the best way possible. And Tim Hill's a good director who's made some decent stuff, decent fun stuff in general. Like, he works on SpongeBob SquarePants. He did Muppets from Space, which maybe was not the best Muppet movie, but was still fun. Now that I think about it, but he did Alvin and the Chipmunks, the first Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, the live-action one, which was... I'll give that one credit. It actually was not as bad as people made it out to be. And it certainly is the best of the live-action ones compared to what follows after that. He did the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, which was a lot of fun. I mean, he's a decent director. I mean, and, you know, this is one of those ones where it's just like, this is one of those ones that makes you feel like maybe you probably should have stuck to animation, really, because this really isn't working in your favor, man. But, like, I digress. I mean... It's got some people find a nostalgic feeling for it, just like I do with a lot of movies that not a lot of people really like. But hey, me personally, I did not find too much to like about Max Keeble's big move. At least in my personal opinion, I didn't. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. When we meet next time, we'll take a look at 4 more movies, including Bruce Willis, Cate Blanchett, and Billy Bob Thornton in the crime comedy Bandits, Chris Kattan in Corky Romano, Jackie Chan in Iron Monkey, and also David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. So 4 films we'll take a look at next time. We'll delve into those on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page. Check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.